All right, guys, we're going to be going over today some of the most common questions I get, some of the ISO basics, so we can help you guys understand the system, and we're going to get right into it right away. So number one question I get is, RemanX, why aren't you recommending any class for Phoenix? And we're going to show you something. So I did some testing. We actually saw some skirmisher interaction, like the reason why we chose Maw was because his abilities, because they target the enemy team, were allowing you to place those vulnerable debuffs on targets. Unfortunately, that is not the case with Phoenix. Now, Phoenix has always been one of those tough choices. So we know that she does get the outside arc over here. All of these ISOs will actually, the outside matrix will actually go to her base stats. So there can be an argument made for specifically using the damage on her. So at some point in the game, if you want to give her a little bit more damage, that's the big deal. But again, most of her abilities aren't interacting in that way. And when she dies, none of the matrix, so she will not be using the skirmisher in her second form as Dark Phoenix. So in a nutshell, the summons, clones don't reflect that. And that's not something that they've thought about doing. I think after the second beta test, they decided that it wasn't something they wanted to do. And I think for a lot of reasons, it does make sense, something to take into consideration as we move forward. Next thing I get out a lot is everybody's trying to understand, what does the ISO extra attack do as a striker? And we're going to go into that because there's a lot of confusion, and I think it comes down to understanding how the actual ability works. So if a target is marked and this character attacks at a striker, they will follow up with a second attack called the ISO extra attack. And really what you guys have to look at right here is this info is taken from here as far as what effects go by it. So on the basic attack at level 4, Venom is going to, or with the tier 4s in it, will flip 2 positive effects, and if the target is marked, he will then flip 3 more. So that's the reason why you're going to see some of these characters, a lot of characters that may either benefit from bleed or do that ISO extra attack. Now, the damage is not from this ability. Only the effects are gathered from that. The ISO extra attack is just going to use the base attack at 50, 75, and 100% damage, which is why those damage scaling tiers, the 10% on the at each level for the additional 20%, is a big deal. All right, so the 20% extra damage that's built into the striker kit, especially if it does feature a bleed. Now, again, you're going to want somebody in the team obviously marking, because striker is the only current way to get rid of vulnerable. As of right now, healer used to remove vulnerable, but vulnerable is applied unless a striker takes it off. Now remember, another big thing that a lot of people don't understand is you don't have to use striker to take advantage of those vulnerables. Those vulnerables are 10% damage whether or not you have a character equipped with ISOs or not. They don't have to have any special classes to interact with that. So sometimes that might just be enough damage to get you through the content, and maybe you don't want to strip those vulnerables from a striker. But I will tell you that typically if you're trying to add special effects. Now, another thing that we found out, and I think we thought wrong, was the skirmishers. So skirmishers, if it is a vulnerable target at level 2 or level 3, they remove 1 buff. At level 5, they remove two buffs. It is actually a resist check. So if you've heard people, and including myself, we did some more advanced testing versus some heavy hitting targets. That actually is something that'll check for resist on. So that focus being built in at tier 5 is now a double down on a very, very important ability. So we're going to say that level 5 skirmisher is so much better now that it is actually factoring in resist for those purposes. So these are some of the basic questions. Another question I get a lot is kind of going over like the cost of acquisition. And so what I will tell you is there's a spreadsheet by Yuletide-Bringer. I'm going to have that included in here. He goes over all the costs and what it costs to upgrade, how to do some of the extra value. Awesome member of the community. I think it's something that you guys will have in your hands. More importantly, you can help us by joining my Discord. It's actually in the comments below. Getting him those 120 point refreshes. We're gathering a ton of data to try to get you the actual drop rates for the ISO on the ISO farming nodes. So something that's going to be important going forward. Also, we're going to announce some really, really cool changes. If you guys haven't noticed, we have moved the ISO sheet away from the main tier list page, and we started our own priority list that basically lets you break it down to level 1, 3, and 5, because there are going to be some arguments for some of those characters that you guys are like, well, what about Fortifier on so-and-so? Well, there might be worthy of consideration when you're looking specifically at the level 5. So at like one that people are talking about is level 5, why Domino? Well, Domino typically is somebody who, if she dies on your X-Force team, maybe it falls apart. Maybe we make another character healer. But these are all things that we're testing. If you guys don't notice, you'll see sometimes things that I'm working on right now. Again, this is something that I've actually built up my own roster to be able to test a lot of this for you guys, so that we can capture the information in the most accurate form. And again, if I don't capture it, we do sometimes have other folks who either record it so we can look back at interactions. So this is updated as of today. We've gone through and updated some of what we have happening. If you guys don't know, I'm going to be doing a full ISO series. You're going to see a ton of this information coming out. We're going to have a lot more information every day as we do more advanced testing, as we get characters level 5, as we test them at their full potential. So stay tuned. This is something that, again, you're gonna have from this channel exclusively, and something we want to bring to you guys. All right, guys. Thank you guys for all your support. Again, this is not my list. A lot of it was compiled from a lot of the people who were testing and are still testing at high levels to get this information in your hands to kind of show you guys where the best value and investment comes from. Again, thank you guys very much. Any more ISO basic question you can ask in the comments, hop on my Discord. We have an FAQ built in on here. So if you guys didn't hear that answer today, there's a quick, really frequently asked question on here. We're also taking some more feedback on how you guys want this list to look going forward, and infographics to soon follow. And again, I'll see you guys on Twitch every day. I'm RemanX signing out. Have an awesome one.